What's the best sports car if you're not an asshole? Plenty of people drive sports cars who are not assholes.
I drive a lot of sports cars and I pretty much exclusively look like an asshole in them.
The whole point is to look like an asshole.
Hi, I'm Doug DeMuro, and this is What Car Should You Buy, a YouTube series dedicated to imparting our beliefs on the rest of you people, sort of like Congress. Today we're going to talk about an important subject. What's the best sports car if you're not an asshole? Or more importantly, is it even possible to drive a sports car that doesn't convey the asshole stereotype? No. Here's our take.
Yes, you can drive a sports car without looking like an asshole. I think that there are plenty of options out there to look just cool enough, but not so cool that you look kind of like a jerk.
I remember once, a few years ago, when I was living in Washington, D.C., I was testing a Porsche Cayman S. Bright blue with a stick shift, one of the best cars I've ever tested for Jalopnik, and I love driving it. It was an amazing, rewarding, really intuitive, fun car to drive, and like everywhere I went, people would be like, there's the asshole in the Porsche, and I just would kind of get this sad look on my face.
If you care what people think about your car, then you are an asshole. And you bought a sports car because you want people to look at you, and you're gonna drive the car like an asshole because when you have a cool car and somebody's like looking the other way, you rev the engine, you peel out of a stoplight, and you give all sports car drivers a bad name.
I think the appearance thing for me is not really a factor, but the thing is, I find myself wanting approval from strangers sometimes. Every once in a while, I'm like, let me see. Maybe they noticed my downshift. Maybe they're giving me some props there.
If I see somebody in a high-end sports car, my first inclination is sort of to say, oh, look at that dick. And I hate that, but I think there's a line to it where if you're driving a high-end sports car in a really flashy color, lime green, neon pink, any of those, Mopar colors that they put all the Hellcats in, you're kind of asking to be called an asshole.
I mean, red is the obvious asshole color. If you don't want to be an asshole, get, I don't know, like that really horrible gray-green that like the Subaru wagons are. Get one of those. Get a sports car in one of those terrible colors. Just to show everyone that you're not an asshole.
You can't do anything in a sports car. You can't move a couch. You can't really put your dog in it. You can't drive your friends around. It's really just for you.
If you're gonna buy a sports car, I think that you should get like a vintage sports car just because they're like sleek and like sexy as hell. I think like that's the only kind of sports car I would be impressed by, is if someone had like a beautiful, I don't know, like a beautiful Jag, even though like as Mad Men proved that they can probably kill you.
If you want to buy a sports car, but you don't want to look like an asshole, I honestly think there's a way to do that with the Chevy Corvette. And this sounds like an oxymoron because the stereotype of the Chevy Corvette driver is the guy who's in his 50s and always wanted a Corvette, doesn't know how to drive it, but just buys the most expensive drop-top Corvette that his local Chevy shop has, and drives it to the fish fry on Friday nights. That being said, you could buy a Corvette for $60,000 and have capabilities that you can't get in a Porsche unless you're spending six figures.
The sports car you should get if you're not an asshole, it's just probably like a 997 Porsche 911. That car is the best car that you can get, even if you are an asshole. It has enough power that it can get out of its own way. It's a very, very sporty car. It has enough room for things. You can buy one for, I don't know, like 50 grand or something, so it's not, you don't need to be super high-end.
Are you an asshole if you buy a Corvette? I think the best thing that I've ever heard anyone say about a Corvette is that like Viper owners pay in cash, Corvette owners pay with their credit card. Like if you're buying a Corvette, you're probably like upside down on a home loan. You probably have a boat that you're trying to offload. Like that is what I think when I see it, which is a bummer because they're great cars, but you're probably an asshole.
A great sports car, if you're not an asshole, is an Audi TT. It's just enough flash, but it's still subtle. It's fast and cool and it's got great features, but it's kind of like a common man's sports car. Like anyone can drive that.
I think if you had a vintage car, like a really awesome high-end vintage sports car like a Jag E-Type, I think you'd always look badass.
The car I would get if I weren't an asshole, which I clearly am, I get a vintage E-Type, and it would be like a Series 1, I think it's called a drop head. It's basically convertible. That car will exude sexiness, and you can never, ever, ever be an asshole in that car while you're driving it for as long as you live.
You are an asshole if you own a Tesla Roadster, but you're a cool asshole. As we would say in Texas, you're my kind of asshole.
If you're gonna buy a sports car and you're not an asshole, I guess buy a Corvette and put a Prince bumper sticker on the back.
The Corvette is a pretty good buy for a sports car if you don't want to look like an asshole. Because at the end of the day, you are driving a Chevrolet.
Thanks for watching, and just remember, if you drive a sports car, you don't have to further the stereotype. You could just not do a burnout when you leave Cars and Coffee. Don't forget to subscribe and reply in the comments below with your own thoughts.